What's up, everybody? This is Cardfight Destiny here for, well, I guess you could say this is my first video, even though I've been around on YouTube for a lot longer than that. Well, technically this would be my first deck profiling on this channel. Not my first video, but enough of that. This is the first video I'm recording. Anyway, today is a deck profiling of my Angel Feather Zerachiel deck. This would be a 2.0 deck profiling, because I do have an original deck profiling on my other channel, which I'll link in the description below if you're interested in seeing it, even though, it's pre-BT13, so yeah. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's start off with my starting Vanguard. Yes, I'm still using, for those who saw the original video, I'm still using Peniel, because Peniel's skill is much better in my overall opinion, especially because it is a, because of the fact that my deck is a, what is it? My deck's a more offensive deck, and don't mind the peeling sleeve, old sleeve. I just do this when I do this for fun when I'm not in tournaments. I usually use anime sleeves as my backing. So that's that. For those who don't know Peniel's skill by now, her skill is when you move her into when you move her from rearguard circle into the soul. Search your damage zone for one card, call it to rearguard circle, then take the top card of your deck and put it face down into the damage zone. So yeah. Next up is my trigger lineup. I run 4 critical triggers. 5 critical triggers, excuse me. I use 5 Samyaza, 1 critical hit angel. She's not there for her skill, I just prefer her over the other choices that I had. And her 3k skill can be useful in a clutch mode. 5 draw triggers, 4 of landing Pegasus and 1 of Fever Therapy Nurse, because again her skill is good for clutch mode, and it is good, and her skill is good in the predicament where I need to up my Vanguard's power a little bit more because I don't have the proper booster behind her, which I will get to later. I run 2 stand triggers because clutch mode stand trigger. And, of course, the all-important 4 heal trigger, because if you don't run 4 heal, you are either ballsy as hell, or you are insane. So, that's that on my triggers. Next up is my grade 1 lineup. I run 4 of Nursing Celestial Narelle. Narelle's skill is basically, it's basically a grade 1 version of Love Machine Gun Nociel. Where when she's called to rearguard circle, choose a card with Celestial from your hand and put it into the damage zone. Then you take any Angel Feather unit from your damage zone, be it face up or face down, and add it to your hand. Really good for the Angel Feathers, the all-important Angel Feather recycling. I run 4 Underlay Celestial Hesediels because it's Hesediel. She is the all-important booster for this deck. Her skill: when there is a unit named Solidified Celestial Zerachiel in the damage zone, she gains an extra 3k power. And then that becomes much more important when you actually have Zerachiel on the damage on Vanguard Circle, which I'll get to a little later. I run 2 Marking Celestial Arabhaki. She's basically the 10k grade 1. When there is a Celestial unit on Vanguard Circle, when she's on Rearguard Circle, she gains power plus 3000, making her 10k. And then, of course, I run 4 Perfect Guards. Yes, 3 of them are not the Celestial one. That's my fault. Long story short, a long time ago I never thought I would have this deck done. I had multiple chances of having a full set of, what is her name? Aniel. But unfortunately, I traded those away a lot of times. So, in the end, I ended up getting 1 Pure Keeper I think it was, actually, I got 2 Pure Keeper Raguels, Requiel, excuse me, from a friend, and then I ended up buying 1, or I think I had 1 and bought 2, I don't remember. So that is my grade 1 lineup. Onto my grade 2 lineup. I have one Love Machine Gun Nociel. Technically I shouldn't have a Love Machine Gun Nociel at all in the deck, but since I still don't have a fourth of another card, I run one of her, especially because she's still good for that random moment when I need to switch something out, especially when I don't have Zerachiel on Vanguard and I have something else on Vanguard, which I will get to once I get to grade 3. I run 3 kind of Celestial Sariel. Sariel is basically the key card of Angel Feathers at this point, a very important card. Counterblast 1, search your deck. Counterblast 1, search your deck for a Angel Feather card, put it into the damage zone, and then you take a card from your damage zone and put it into the drop zone. So this allows you to get specific cards you would want into your damage zone while cleaning out your damage zone otherwise. This will especially become important once we get to Legion, if Angel Feather ever does get Legion before the end of Legion Mate, which hopefully it will. But she's really good for that, and don't be afraid of doing that when you're at 5 damage. She will not put you at she will not kill you. Like, say, would happen if you were to accidentally use a damage caller, which has happened before, laughably. Not to me, but to an opponent I fought. I run 4 Wild Shot Celestial Raguel, or Raguel, I don't know how to pronounce her name just yet. She is the 12k attacker. She forms very, very powerful columns with Hesediel, which again I will get to soon enough. And then I run 3 Emergency Celestial Danielle, or Danielle, however you want to pronounce it. Her skill, Counterblast 1 Celestial. When another Angel Feather is put into the damage zone, you may pay the cost. If you do, call her to rearguard circle, the top part of your deck face up into the damage zone. Thing I learned, her skill cannot, even though it does not say it on the card, her skill cannot be used when she's counterblasted. But if she's called to the damage zone, you can if she's called to the damage zone, from what I've read on Cardfight or on Cardfight Wiki, I think this is how it works. If, let's say, you get double crit, and she's called to damage zone, you have 2 into the damage, you have 1 in the damage zone already, and she gets called, you can counterblast her to call 1 out, and then say another unit gets put into the damage zone, you can counterblast that unit, and still call her out, and still call the one you counterblasted out. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tested it yet and been called out by a judge. And I really don't want to do that. But I have to ask a couple of people to make 100% sure if that can be done. Because the way it's worded on Cardfight Arena, I keep saying Cardfight Arena, Cardfight Wiki kind of confuses me. But anyway, that's it for my grade 2s. Last but not least, on to my grade 3s. I run 1 Prophecy Celestial Ramiel. Technically, again, I shouldn't be running her at all, but because I don't have 3 of another card, I run 1 of her. Because it was a toss-up between her and running Reverse Aura Phoenix, aka the bird is the word. But I don't like using him because he's not a Celestial, so if I have to put him on Vanguard Circle, he messes up my entire deck. Next up I run 3 Cleanup Celestial Ramiel Reverse. The reverse unit for the Angel Feathers. Now, when break riding over Ramiel, she's actually pretty good. She gives you the 13k body, because she's a cross ride, or cross break ride, for Ramiel. And her skill is actually pretty good. But also it's a double-edged sword. Her skill. You lock 2 Angel Feather units, and you can give your entire front row power plus 5,000, and if there's a copy of her in the damage zone, face up, you can choose one of your opponent's damage, heal it, and then the opponent has to choose a rear guard to put into the damage zone. You can use this more than once per turn also. So, let's say I need to go full clutch mode, I can lock 4 of my units, remove 2 cards from their damage zone, and then they have to put 2 cards from their rear guard circle into the damage zone. The double-edged sword about this is, her second effect is not a choice. It's a requirement. If you have Ramiel Reverse in the damage zone, you have to heal one of them, their damage, and make them put a unit into the damage zone. So, if they run a Counterblast heavy deck, you're giving them a free Counterblast. The other end of that is, though, if let's say they are somehow at 0 damage when you're at limit break, granted, you're screwed if that happens, but they have to put a unit into their damage zone from their rearguard circle. So, you can force them to take a damage. And last but not least, I run 4 Solidify Celestial Zerachiel. 1 is an SP, by the way. And I love it. But, Zerachiel. Everyone should know Zerachiel's skill by now, but in case you don't, her skill is, when you're at limit break, if there's a face-up copy of her in the damage zone, you can basically give plus 3,000 power to all of your rear guards. I mean, to all of your units in general. So basically, you give 6k power to each column. So, going back to my grade 1s, if I have her on rearguard circle, when a Zerachiel is in damage zone, she's a 12k booster now. That's why she is key to this entire deck. That is pretty much it. This is my Angel Feather deck. Now, I know some people might think it's not all that good. Everyone has their own way of building a certain thing. Everyone has the units that they like. While Vanguard is basically kind of locked to how you can build decks in some ways, Nubatama, you can still build things your own way in the end. And that's the one thing I love about this game. And that's the one thing I love about this deck. The way I have it built, it's a pretty good deck. I have had issues recently, the usual issues I end up having with the deck where it decides to go full-on ham, but hopefully I can fix that in the future. So, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I will have more videos up in the future. This channel is not just going to be Cardfight Vanguard based, even though the name is Cardfight Destiny. I will be adding other content to this channel as well. I'll be doing gameplay and all that stuff, so stick around and enjoy the ride. Peace.